Diane, I'm listening to a podcast, Black Lodge Trivia Night. I've never heard so many game aspirations in my life.
And at that point is when I decided that my kidneys were better suited being sold on the black market in China than actually being inside of my body. Hello, everybody.
In this age of tariffs, I don't doubt it. Welcome to Black Lodge Trivia Night. We are back tonight. We're going to do what will be a very special episode. It's going to be the final episode of our Rosewood Abbey run, regardless of where it lands. We're going to stick that landing at the moment it comes, regardless of what it means. And because we want to get this going so that we can get to the more important things. Just to tease it, Matt, do you want to tease what the more important things are that's going to be coming up?
Like which one? Symbaroum, Swords of the Serpentine, the Delta Green adventure I read today.
Don't do the Swords of the Serpent. I'm so upset that I'm going to miss that while I'm out like dealing with babies.
Yeah, so we haven't actually said on live TV why there's going to be some mano a mano Matt and Art time. But yeah.
I have another baby on the way because accidents. And so I can't wait for him to see that in 18 years. Anyway, yes, Tommy, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, we've said it in person, but just officially, like, obviously congratulations are in order.
Yes.
Is it yours?
Thank you. Very, either me or the milkman, one of the two.
All right.
I'll raise it like my own. Does that count?
That's just pure stand up right there. Can't complain. So, all right. So, yeah, so that's why we're going to have some Matt and Art one-on-one time. That's why we're getting Swords of the Serpentine prepped, which should be up by the time you see this, so it's not a surprise. And yeah. But before we get into this, because we're going to take this very seriously tonight, for reals, did you guys want to do a little bit of trivia?
Always. Matt is still shaking his head at me.
No, it's like,
all right.
10 things in a row that we didn't want on camera.
Oh, no, I want everything on camera. Listen, they are watching anyway, so it's fine. We know that nothing is serious.
Right. And there will be a blind auction for Patrick's kidneys in a link down below.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
And the placenta, if anybody wants to have placenta steaks.
Okay, here's the trivia question for tonight. Here we go. Cheryl Lee famously played two different characters on Twin Peaks. She played Laura Palmer, and she played Cousin Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
Who is, and I say this not being 100% sure, the only character that's a human being on camera to be played by two different people? Now, Patrick, you might not really be able to answer this, but if you want to pull a guess out of your ass,
Annie?
that's... Okay, so Matt, you said Annie?
Agent Cooper.
And Agent Cooper. Are those your final guesses?
Yeah, I don't.
Yes.
So just to clarify, we're not talking about Catherine and Mr.
No, because those were two different
saying
characters.
one character,
played
two
by
actors.
two separate actors.
Okay,
and
I'm
they
going to
both
say
appear on
Annie
camera.
maybe. Oh no.
I think Matt's got it.
It's Donna. It's Donna. Or holy shit, what's Patrick, who's the oh my gosh. Not Donna, Audrey. Jeez, I can't believe it was Audrey, right?
And Art has family in the room.
Oh.
Excellent.
Guest host.
Yeah. So
Guest toast.
There we go. So, Matt, is that your final answer?
Fuck, is it Audrey or Donna? I'm going to say Audrey. So, Patrick, the actress in Firewalk with Me is different from the actress. I'm going to say Donna because they got Audrey to come back for the return. Donna, final answer.
Patrick?
Cooper.
All right, you're sticking with
100%.
Cooper. The correct
Locked
answer
in.
is Donna. On the TV
good.
show,
Ooh.
it was played by Lara Flynn Boyle. And in the movie Fire Walk With Me, it was played by Moira Kelly. Now, as a quick bonus, what was the official reason given for the character switch?
Oh, I never heard that. I don't know.
Death.
No, the official answer given was scheduling conflict. Now, as a second bonus, what's the juicy answer?
She's pregnant.
I don't know.
All right. So, rumor had it that Lara Flynn Boyle and Kyle MacLachlan dated during the original filming of Twin Peaks, but they broke up. And one of the rumors is that Lara Flynn Boyle didn't want to come back and interact, with her ex. So there you go. That is tonight's trivia.
I'm embarrassed by saying Annie, but when you said Patrick, you may not know, it's like, oh, who's a character who shows up later? And then I didn't give any thought to it. And then I found it was not an intentional two people playing one actor. It was unintentional. And yes, I knew it was one of those two.
Right. And there's
Audrey has been played with, obviously a lot of them have been played with the same actor, but Audrey comes back to the return. So
yeah, that's
why I figured if they were in the original and they were in the return, then anyways.
Yeah. And there's a lot of Cheryl Lee, she played the cousins, Joan Chen played the wife in a doorknob. So there were times when actors played two different roles on camera, but this was the one time that I could recall when, and again, there's the guy from the Black Lodge, the small guy, he gets replaced by a tree because there's problems, but it wasn't a human being on camera. David Bowie dies before the return, so they futz around with that. But again, it's not a human being on camera. So there were other times when other characters were played by more than one person, but not as a human being filmed. So there we go. So here we are. A quick recap. Basically, in the last session, you started your morning. You were doing your writing. You got summoned by Brother Guisi Robustelli. He said, hey, I need you to come with me because Father Fabiano Adamo Mora is very upset. He was planning on showing the early blooming rose to a traveling merchant named Grimaldo Carboni, who is traveling with his daughter.
And his daughter, Gianna Dior.
Right, Idra Fabia Carboni. And he was going to use the miracle of this early blooming rose as hey, why don't you give to the church? He's also using it as a fundraiser in the nearby village. But he discovered that morning that somebody had clipped the rose. Or maybe not clipped, it's just the rose is gone. So there's one thing, if you remember.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. It was the Martians. There's an ancient evil. The rumor about the ancient evil is that it lured a child to a lake and then drowned the child. And the other thing of consequence that happened last session was that you ran into Brother Matthias in the cloisters, and he was sort of lost in thought, staring off, and he said she used to hate roses. And then as he sort of was startled by your presence and turned, he accidentally dropped something. And it was a piece of parchment. It was an old piece of parchment, and on it was drawn the symbol that you've been seeing, the symbol of the ancient evil that in the very first session, Patrick, you said looks a little bit like a rose. So you added that to your piles of clues. And then at the end of the session, you were again summoned to the cemetery garden. And as you're watching, the father be very distressed, and sort of Grimaldo Carboni looking at I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking at. I know I've seen the rose, but he's a little put off by how excitable the father is. The daughter looks bored. You noticed on a tree trunk within the cemetery is the carving of that same symbol. And that's where we left off.
Okay. Do you want to start me out with my clue from, or do you want to have it come in at some other point?
So which clue is that? Apologies.
The Saint Joshua the attendant. At the start of a session, a stranger presses something in your hand or leaves something in a place where you find it. Cantor tells you what it is. It's a clue about the ancient rather than any particular mystery, but I can assign it.
Right.
Whenever I wish.
Now, is that every session or just
Every session?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's
Bada bing.
Yeah, so let's figure it out then. So you see the tree trunk with the carved symbol, and you see that it's hollowed out. But you also see on top of one of the graves, you see dried petals scattered. Now they look like they sort of been they appear sort of more on top of the patches of snow and the mud underneath it. So you think that it was a recent dropping. So that means you have 2 clues at the moment. You have the parchment for the first guy, and then now you're seeing petals on a gravestone off to the side, and of course you have the carving on the trunk. So what would you guys like to do?
Are we technically inside the Abbey walls or outside the Abbey walls?
Inside. It's on the edge, but yes, technically still within the Abbey.
I would like to do a meddling monk move.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So again,
I would like to meddle my monk.
Yeah, when you search for a clue, conduct research, or otherwise gather information, describe how you're doing so and roll with an appropriate ability. So we're going to do a check. What ability do you think would be?
I would like to use reason.
Okay.
And I would like to, given the fact that we have seen, have we both, I guess the question is, have we both seen that the trunk is hollow?
Let's
for
say
that tree.
Matt, who has like gardening tendencies, would know that the trunk is hollow. Patrick, does Patrickless know that?
Does Patrickless, or are you asking Matt?
I'm asking Patrickless if...
Okay. I mean, I'm a herder. I'd be out in nature. I would know if a tree looks funky. Like, I think that makes sense. And given that I am a herder and I'm outside and I tend to the sheep, all of which are named Sean, I think that I could reason. I would like to use my reason as the that tree looks a little off. Like, I'm gonna go investigate that tree and see if there's something funky with that tree, because I know what real trees look like, and that tree doesn't look like a full-born tree.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So go ahead and give me a roll. You rolled quite well. You rolled a
Beautiful.
11, which
Nice.
in this game is a success. So you find a clue, and I tell you what that clue is. So
Excellente.
here's the thing. Do you just storm right up to the trunk, or do you want to wait for things to clear up a little bit?
I think the other thing that I have is composure that I'm good at.
Okay.
So I think maybe I look like I'm blessing. I think I'm going around the graves, blessing each of them. Like, maybe I've got a little bowl of holy water or something, and I'm spritzing each of them. And I go to the closest grave that's by the tree, and I'm covertly looking at the inside of the tree while I'm, ad hominem. Sorry, Catholic viewers. In front of the tree.
Okay. Yeah, so inside you see what looks like a religious icon. And
All right.
it is an icon depicting Saint Rita of Cassia holding a rose and a fig.
Okay. I will. Or is anybody else paying any attention to me, or am I pretty much flying under the radar?
If I'm cool with it being either. If they're not paying attention to you, that means it's on Artius to have created a reason why.
I would like to reach in and grab that thing, but I would only do it if Brother Artius is making some kind of something. All you, brother. Trip. Have a coughing fit. Actually, have a gout attack.
I was gonna say, like, what's from like Kids in the Hall, like the old lady who like goes up to the sneeze guard. She's like, and she like breathes on the sneeze guard. Like I just do old people things very loud and obnoxious, and like they gather and they bow their heads, and then all.
So yeah, as you do that, Grimaldo Carboni, he sort of like takes your elbows, like, oh, brother, or do you want to sit? Can we find you a seat? And he starts looking around.
No, just hold me here. As soon as he starts to look around.
And Idra, she, and just so you remember, Idra, I think you flagged her as part of the rumor.
As a sloot?
Maybe not quite, maybe. She was a sinful figure. The ancient is the heathen emperor. But yeah, she's been flagged as a sinful figure for some reason. And she looks scared. It's not that, if it's the 13th century, you've probably seen somebody get sick and die before. But it's still kind of, it's alarming when somebody suddenly appears to be ill right in front of you at the time of the plague.
Forgive an old weary soul. I assure you what I have is not contagious. As a matter of fact, this reminds me of a story recorded in the work of Aesop. I don't know if Aesop was...
we'll probably wing it.
I don't know my 13th century literature.
But say you do whip out... And what is it you are trying... I assume you're trying to check...
he whips something out.
Yeah. I assume you're trying to get an end of session check. Which one are you trying to get?
Oh, I was going with every work of... Is there something else I should...
Talk me through what you were saying.
Every work of the Lord?
Every work of the Lord move.
Oh, every work of the Lord move. Okay, let's take a look at that. Once per session, a friar can say, this reminds you of a story, okay, and complete a sentence with an ancient author's name. Then all the players agree on how something happening in the friar's current situation... Okay. Great, so we got the ancient author. No repeats. Man, they're really making it tough.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. But
yeah. The Saint Tom Clancy once said in Redstone, I think that's the thing, like, nobody's going to know actual stuff from then. So a lesson or problem or situation the author described that's relevant. Okay, so let's go on to that step. So you've mentioned Aesop for argument's sake. How does the lesson or problem apply?
Do not judge an old weary soul by the contents of his cough in weary bones, but instead, my dear, judge him by the contents of his beats.
The contents of his meat pocket.
All right, so now how the author suggests applying the lesson. Okay. All right, so then take a 12 plus on a single relevant roll or state of fact. Now, do we need to do that roll right now?
Well, I think what I was going with is I wanted to, out of respect for their elders, I don't think I'm going to take the roll. The fact of the current situation is, out of respect for the elderly brother here, everyone is paying attention to this very awful and boring fable. And how he has been working it into religious duty for respecting your elders. And they are paying attention. They don't give two shits, but they are being polite. And so their attention is on me.
Got it. So you definitely hold the room while Patrick reaches in.
Yeah.
And grabs that religious icon. Okay. So just so you know, you've got 3 clues at the moment. One is the parchment of that ancient symbol. You've got an icon depicting Saint Rita holding a rose and a fig. The ancient symbol looks a little bit like a rose. And you've noticed out of the corner of your eye, fresh petals have been scattered on one of the graves.
Fresh rose petals?
Let's say that they are...
Are they the rose?
No.
Okay. But they are rose petals.
No, right, because these
Wow.
are dried, so you'd notice that they wouldn't be dried petals. Yeah.
While I'm going around ad hominem, and spritzing with the spray bottle of holy water, can I see whose grave that is? Just while I pass by it?
Okay, yeah. Let's say that the grave is of a woman who used to be, like, she was a nun, and but she sort of really made herself, worthy in the eyes of the Lord by helping the sick during some pandemic. And maybe it cost her life. She helped them so much. And it's like Sister Catherine. We'll call her Catherine. And yeah, she lost her life tending for the sick and the poor during a pandemic. And, she refused to walk away and leave them.
Wow. 2020 was a wild time.
What's our nice? What's our mystery level?
So currently you have 3 clues. The mystery level is technically 6, but whatever we're at is we're just going to wing it.
Okay. So
Fucking do it.
Are we at 6?
Roll
Are we
it,
at
bitch.
6 or are we at... No, well, no, that we'd be at a -3. We have to get more clues.
Right. You're at 3 clues so far.
3 out of...
6.
So we're at... Yeah, we need to get more. Well, we can't get a 12.
Oh, that's right. We need to roll 12 on 2d6.
Yeah.
2d6, no modifiers. The only thing that modifies it are your clues.
Right.
I see. Can I... Are we in the presence of the porn star and her dad still?
So, I will say, would you like them to remain, or do you want them to start clearing out because the father is in a huff and is apologizing and they start walking away?
I think, yeah, either that, or if they're too distracted, like talking to the father, I'll come over to Brother Ardius. Let's have all of them clear out. They go their separate ways.
Okay, and yeah, so they leave, and if you remember, Brother Guisi Robustelli, he doesn't like the fuss that was made about a rose. He's like, it's a flower.
Right.
But he really doesn't like the pride that the father took in the rose, and he really doesn't like how the father was trying to make money off of it. So,
I would like to talk to him.
Oh, okay, so you want him to stick around.
Yeah.
Brother Greasy Robotussin.
A moment of your time, sir.
And he comes over and he, gives the father a nod and, I'll be there in just a moment, Father. And then he comes over and sort of talks to you.
Curious, this business with the rose? How does that make you feel? And I'm prying, and I would like to I'm doing a little bit of prying and poking, and the conversation can maybe go based off how this roll goes. But I'm gonna try and couch this as in keeping my composure, in a sense that I may be acting in a way that he thinks I'm a trustworthy ear, that he could maybe complain freely. And so maybe I slip a little something in there, and
Okay, so you're trying to get into
this has been quite the distraction, and I feel as if our efforts could be spent on more holy focus.
Yeah. Okay, so let's make this a pious move, and you're gonna say use composure. Is that what you were saying?
A meddling monk. Maybe.
Oh, okay, meddling monk. So that's gonna.
Yeah, I want to get
clue.
a clue out of this.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and. Oh, that's a great roll.
Is that 12?
Nice.
That's 2 clues, baby.
That's right, 2 clues. On a 12, you
Fucking
find a
A.
clue. In addition, you find a second clue or disprove talk of the moment. Now, talk of the moment, let me just bring that up just so we remember. That's in the rumor mill. Now, the talk of the moment, I believe, was that... is it just the Ancient One? Is that the only talk of the moment?
I think that's the only one we have so far.
Yeah, the talk of the moment... yeah, because I I was very naughty. I did not reread all of the rule book before tonight because I was super busy.
It's okay.
Okay.
Life happens.
Yeah. So you've got
Fuck you, Art.
right. So you've got 2 clues coming. Or unless you want to disprove some of the
Why do
stuff.
I care about the talk of the moment? Why would I care about disproving it?
So I think in the bigger picture, it might help calm things down. If we were playing like a longer campaign, there's sort of like this buildup of tension, and that might
Can't the talk of the moment, can't that hurt us in the long run in a long campaign? Can't we get like excommunicated from the fucking like monastery if we don't clean that shit up?
Yeah, so part of that big the big overarching story is that if things get too out of hand, too crazy, like people are getting into a fever pitch about, terrible things that are actually, against the church, there's an idea that like someone higher up in the church comes and holds like a little trial, might be too strong of the word, but yeah, and then you have to defend against all the craziness going on with some rolls and stuff like that. So that's
and then if the rumor mill fills up, then like fucking mobs can come out.
Yeah, it can really.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I want the clues.
Yeah. Okay. So the first clue, you find a clue. Let's see. Then cross it.
I have a raging clue.
Right. So let me take a. So yeah. So brother Greasy is.
Now, they don't have to be from him. Like, if something, right?
Yeah.
But my thought was, if he had them, I'm trying to lend him a friendly ear.
Right. So what you're getting from him is mostly. What you're getting from him is mostly. Like what I was saying. Like he's not involved in anything. What he's really wanting is like, I just need you to put this to rest. And then he mentions that, like, look, over the course of the last few weeks, since this rose has bloomed, or the last week, and the father has started going into the village to try and drum up business, it's sort of excited the people a little bit in maybe, unholy ways, right? Like, it's getting them like, oh, wait, like something supernatural is happening, and they know this legend of the area about, like, the lake luring a child. And it's getting them excitable in a way that Brother Greasy's not really comfortable with. Now, as he's going on with that, you notice that in the mud just next to the dried petals on the grave, you see what looks like a footprint.
Okay.
But it looks like it might be like a bare footprint, and it's small.
Okay.
Like woman small or child small or effeminate man small?
No, it's smaller than an adult. You would guess it's a child.
We must kill all the children in the village.
Yes, that's it. That's the only option. And that's been Rosewood Abbey. Thank you very much for no.
We solved it.
It's the children at fault. Insert Simpsons meme.
Right. Well, the Inquisition is starting to make sense, right? If you get them all, then
yeah, if nobody's alive to cause problems, nobody's alive to cause problems.
Yeah. So
it's great.
Yeah. So Brother Greasy's like he's telling you that the father's trying to do something good for the church, but it's sort of dipping its toe into something that's a little heretical, and he's worried it's going to get out of control.
Okay.
But then
we have a child's footprint. There's some concern for heresy. Is that a clue, or do I have another clue?
So the footprint is the clue. The concern for heresy is just Brother Greasy. He seems to be very all business. And then
give me a second clue.
Yeah, and then as you are looking at, like, say, the wall, there's little ornate metal objects, say, along the wall, and you see that there looks like there's something snagged on one of those pieces of metal over the wall.
Oh, thank you, Brother Greasy. Please. Hurry inside before you catch the plague.
Before you catch your death.
Come again? Oh, no, never mind him. Head on inside. It takes these old weary bones a moment.
Oh, pardon me.
Right.
Right.
I want to go look at the thing in the wall.
Okay. So, yeah, Brother Guisi, he, is like, yes, I'll thank you. I'm going to go attend
I slap
to
him on the toe,
Salutation.
say, off you trot.
Good game, lad. Good game.
Yeah, and with that, you
Hot
notice
to trot.
on the fence is what looks like a tuft of goat fur and a little bit of cloth.
Fuck it. We got a fucking devil person coming here. You just need to burn it all down.
So
goat fur and a little bit of cloth, okay?
yeah, so let's say with that, we move to Sext.
What?
Oh yeah, Sext. It's a danger for all
No,
our children.
the daughter
all right.
left.
I would like to do an interarium move and share an intimate brother with a moment with another friar, please.
And I would like to use my Viagra action.
So
oh my god, what's the Robert Downey Jr. spoof movie from that I just posted?
The Devil's Abbey.
Devil's Alley. It's Devil's Alley, which makes it even better. It's got
Even
fucking
better.
Tobey Maguire in it. Fuck.
So, at Sext
So
is one of the
serious.
times where you have 3 communal prayers and meals.
Fuck yeah, I have 3 communal prayers during Sext.
So, you go sort of back
So
to...
good on my knees during Sext. Never mind. I'm sorry, Art.
That's
please,
okay.
Please ignore me.
The important thing is that we are staying on point and keeping it classy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so you are back inside the Abbey. You make your way to the dining hall, and it's reserved, it's quiet. Murmurs.
Did you mean to
throughout
take
the
us
hall.
with you? Because we're still in the
Did
cemetery.
I not activate? I didn't activate. There we go. This should bring you over.
Thank you.
Perfect. So yeah, you're
All right.
inside the Abbey, and
So we're sexting.
totally sexting, and you take your meal. And is there anything you want to do during the meal, or is it just meal then prayers? Is there anything you want to do during this time?
How many beets do we eat, Matt?
Well, okay, can I just for a moment...
Please.
Moving on.
Why
You have
why don't we just meddling monk all over the place?
So that's a good question. I think
Okay, I'll buy it. I'll buy it because I think it takes you to buy in is probably the answer. Like, you don't want to just there's supposed to be these scenes, and we should have interarium scenes, but I don't know if we care, or I guess unless you want to gain a suggestion. Only if the activities within your monastic purview you stumble upon a clue. Oh, okay. Patrick, what if we did this? What if we had an intimate moment over lunch and prayers?
Sure.
And we somehow worked it into one of our monastic purviews.
I am the Saint Agatha of nursing monk.
Your purview is
So-
gardener, right?
Oh,
Yes.
So
I have one. if
Do you
don't,
tell
but
me-
I'll throw it to you.
I was gonna say, do you tell me that it's goat fur?
No, we know it's goat fur.
Okay.
I think I say, Brother Patroclus, please, would you please join me for... Oh, no, we don't. Do we have a meal during this time? Oh, we do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Please, join me for a meal. I have fresh roasted beets that I had Brother Jakob roast for us in the kitchen this morning. I have them in my sack. Please, will you break bread and break beets with me?
Definitely forgot that I was from Toledo again for a second, so... Aye, puppy. We will go. We will go and we will break the beet like we break the bread. And then... Did you say you saw goat fur, my brother?
Yes,
We saw goat fur. We must check on the herd later today, I think, to see if any of the goats here at the monastery are missing a patch of fur.
That's
As
a
the
course of
herder,
action.
it's
Please,
important.
Let us let us sit and take our mind off these things. I have many questions I want to ask you.
Sí, señor. Please. Papi.
Brother Patroclus.
Aye.
I want to ask him a question that he may
Please.
not want to answer.
Oh, I answer all questions.
Let me think for a second here. Might need to... 1 second.
So again,
Yeah.
I will throw out, I am Brother Patroclus, the artist of Toledo, if that helps spur any questions.
If I... Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna...
Art's the DM. What do you want to talk about, Art?
No, we do it.
This is
we
a
do it.
PbtA.
I ask you a question that you have to answer truthfully and completely.
Okay.
Then, if we play this out, we can stumble on a clue and come up with our own clue.
Right.
So yes, Art's the GM, but this is PbtA, so we get to drive.
Right, it's PbtA.
So we're in this intimate
yeah.
moment. Brother Patrick,
Si,
as
señor.
my gout set in many a time through the years, I have been tempted by heresy to break my vows. And this business with the Padre, why does the church need to pander and collect money from these people if poverty is a virtue?
That's the question you're asking me?
No. The question I have for you is, do you ever regret your vow of chastity?
So, I would lean back in my wooden chair. I'd steeple my fingers. I'd say, Papi, you must understand that I came to the church quite late in life. You see,
Since I regret it already.
my
Why'd you
vow
pick
of
chastity?
my vow of chastity brought on late in life. The women of Toledo had already forced me out of Toledo, and the women of Trier had forced me out of Trier, and the women of Barcelona. We don't talk about the women at Barcelona, but the women of Madrid, they were fine. I'm sorry, but you asked me, do I ever...
Brother Patroclus, I have another question for you that I think is more appropriate.
We were going to talk about the goat fur, though.
We spend all of this time writing scripture and writing down works, and we keep it within our walls. Don't you think that we should share it with the people?
See. You see, I do not have this heretical view that you seem to have, brother. I believe that the common person is not educated and close enough to God to understand the word of the Lord. They must be receiving this word from the mouth of God himself, the Papi. The Papi must give the word.
The big Papi.
Like a mother bird. It must chew the word of God, write the word of God, and then vomit the word of God into the mouths of the waiting children of God. It is very important that we chew the word of God and spit it up into the mouths of the children. Very important, this spitting action. This is very important.
I love it when you tell me of Big Papi.
See, Big Papi.
I reach into my beat bag to get a snack while he tells me the story of Big Papi and mother birding. And I think I reach for a beet, and it's not a beet. Like, this was supposed to be like packaged roasted beets inside my beet bag. And I reach in there, and I think I find a clue.
It's not a beet.
Yeah, but what is it?
Do we get to decide what it is?
Yeah. We get to tell. We can't say like it's a wooden carving of the answer to the mystery.
Right.
No.
A picture of Big Papi.
No, it's got to be. No, it's got to be like a goose egg or something. Like something absolutely off the wall, but also beet shaped. Like,
okay, so it's a beet-shaped item, but it still has to be a clue. So we have footprints. We have
children's footprints.
We have children's footprints.
We have
a patch of clothing with some goat fur. We have petals. We have a hollowed out tree trunk. We have a picture
with a rose symbol. Lots of rose symbols everywhere.
What was the last one? We have one more, right?
Inside the tree trunk was an icon depicting Saint Rita of Cassia holding a rose and a fig.
It's a big fucking fig.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a fig. It's got to be like a big old fig.
All right.
The biggest fig you've ever seen.
Ay, papi.
Ay, Dios mío. Padre de Dios.
All right. Okay. So you find a fig, and to answer an earlier question, why would you use the downtime? One thing I haven't been good about doing is giving you guys conditions. Like, you were outside in the cold with gout. I should have probably given you, trick knee as a condition. So it's you're supposed to use these times to take those penalties off. It's to sort of motivate you to. And that, like, the honorarium move, that's one of the choices. You can clear a condition. So you could, warm by the fire.
Yes. Yeah, so you clear the condition. Yeah. Nice. Okay, well, we did a lot of role-playing early before we had conditions, so we cleared those in advance.
Yeah, they're all good.
We had a lot of interarium moments before the game even started.
Got a couple in the bank.
I think all we do is interarium moments.
Well, really, we did. I mean, that's kind of... Well, I can't wait to talk about this because I do kind of agree. So we're at 6 clues, right?
You have 6 clues at the moment.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
solve that shit.
You want to go for it? We need to roll boxcars. Or...
Yeah, I'm doing it.
I guess we just need 10 plus.
Right, so on a 10 plus, you have the correct solution, and the canter presents an opportunity to take down the culprit or save the day. On a 12 plus, it's a correct solution. In addition, you disprove some of the rumors in the rumor mill, then cross out that talk of the moment. On a 7 to 9, it's a correct solution.
Which action is this? Just clarifying.
Confabulation move. That's the...
yes. The
so once we have half,
confabulation.
we can sit down and we can use this move to you and I discuss this. We come up with the solution, right, Art?
Yes. So that is... Yeah, so you throw something out, and based on your roll... it's whether or not it's correct. And just so you know, you can use your Thorns of Virtue, Thorns of Sin. If you don't like the roll, you can...
Oh, yes. You have 1 level, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
Patrick, it's time. I think we're...
I want you can roll it, and then you can choose whether Throne... Because I've already used the Throne of Sin. So now you can use the Throne of Virtue or Sin if you need it.
Okay.
But we need to come up with, out of these 6 clues, our solution to the mystery.
Yeah, tell me
I
a
have
story.
an idea in my head.
So you give me your idea, and I'll throw it to the wind. I will put the Patroclus flair to it.
Okay. So I think the sketch did not belong to the brother we ran into the hall. I think it's a child's sketch. And I think it is a scared child from the village who has heard the rumor of the Ancient One. And the saint... What was the saint depicting the fig and the rose?
Saint Rita.
Yeah, Saint Rita.
Rita. I don't know if Saint Rita's real or not, but let's just say that Saint Rita. No. There's probably Saint Rita. I don't actually know what she's the patron saint of, but let's just say she's the patron saint of. Either it can be as ham-fisted as children, or maybe as the patron saint of like safe passage. Or home or something like that. So I want to say this is like an orphan from the village. He's heard of this rose, but he also has drawn this sketch, and he's bought completely into the Ancient One. And this patron saint, she is holding and receiving gifts, figs and roses. And this is this little boy's offer to Saint Rita to protect himself from the Ancient One. and he came and stole the rose.
Okay. I want to add one wrinkle to it. The child. Never mind, because we wouldn't know that. Never mind. I was going to say.
I have a wrinkle.
Yes. Go.
Okay, because one of our suspects was Idra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Idra was going to adopt this boy.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
And so he's like terrified of it. And for whatever reason, he thinks like she is an agent of the Ancient One.
I love it. Done. So I'm rolling to confirm this. It's 2d6.
Just remember, Idra is about 15 or 16.
Oh,
So what about Poppy? Because I was going to throw the wrinkle in that it's the father, the main father's kid that he abandoned at the orphanage, but we wouldn't know that. I don't think we have enough clues to.
can we
throw
call
that
someone
in there.
out as a suspect that we don't know, or does it have to be one of the actors?
So it's supposed to be somebody that you have encountered, but honestly, if you, I'm not going to.
The child's footprint throws me through a loop, unless you were intending the child's footprint to be Idra's. Although he also said she used to love roses, but maybe he just fucking. I don't know, Patrick. You can tweak that however you want. I was just trying to. I was trying to put all 6 together.
She used to hate roses, just in case that changes anything. That was what
She used to hate roses.
That's what Matthias said. She used to hate roses.
She used to hate roses.
Yeah.
Now she loves roses.
So we could tweak this.
Maybe-
I kind of forgot about that line when I came up with that.
So Idra,
Yeah.
remind me. Sorry,
Mhm.
Idra is the daughter of the merchant.
The traveling merchant, yeah. So they're passing through
Okay.
on a return leg of a
But as far as we know,
pilgrimage.
they've never been here before.
Correct.
Right.
So, but I think maybe they have been.
I'm going to put out everybody that you've encountered so far.
Yeah, I was about to say, throw them all out there for us.
I think you've encountered him. He was the Smiling Abbot. Yeah,
Maybe.
he was part of this.
Maybe Idra's father, and I'm gonna flip this on his head. All of that is true, but it's Idra's father who's been here before and who knows of the Ancient One, the rumors of the Ancient One. He was an orphan here when he was a child. Now he's
Okay.
back, and he went and had his daughter steal the rose as a protective symbol for them as they travel through the valley.
Okay. So he's like
So
a
it's-
devout follower of the patron saint Rita. Is that
Yes. And it's him that's ultimately responsible for this.
yeah?
And
But she
Idra,
stole the rose.
she stole the rose
And
to
then
take back to
We
him.
just kind of write off Matthias as just talking nonsense.
Yes. So,
Or
let's rock and roll.
Well, we have the
Or-
petals. We could always say something like that's red herring. I don't know if that's
No,
right, but
no,
red
no.
herring is-
I've got it.
yeah.
That woman, because we know that it was the petals over a woman's grave.
Yeah.
That's Idra's mom, but she took an oath, she took a vow of chastity after she was born,
Okay.
and Idra went with her dad, and so she put the petals.
And Idra's dad placed the crumbled petals that he had preserved, right? These were petals that he obtained
Preserved
in the
petals.
Holy Land. He brought them back and he put them on
Yes.
her grave. And this nun was particularly insightful to Matthias. And
Yes.
okay, all right, roll.
Here
it.
we go. 2d6.
You roll a 5.
Fuck.
So you can use the thorn to bump it up one level of success.
To a partial success.
Not
Or
even
no,
a partial success, right?
To a partial success, yes.
A 6 will get it.
Let's see. If you add a thorn, increase success by 1 level and narrate a different result.
So yeah, not just one result. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So it goes from a failure to
So-
a partial success.
I will do that. And I will choose, so it has to be a virtue or sin?
Yeah, so I'm going to with Matt, I made him choose a sin because of what he was talking about, something more heretical. With you, I'm going to let you decide. Like, do you choose the dark side to get a little edge, or is it virtue coming through to help you out?
I'm going to use a virtue.
Okay.
I'm going to use the virtue of kindness.
Okay.
And I think that as I say all of this, like, I understand why the merchant, why Carboni did this. Like, maybe in my readings and transcriptions, I know why. Maybe the sister was one of my friends. Maybe they were one of our friends. Maybe it was Sister Gemini, and Sister Gemini was like part of our club, and like she told us all of this in the past, that she, maybe on her deathbed, we knew that she had a daughter. And this is us
maybe that's
finding
why I asked
out
you about your vow of chastity.
Yes.
To bring that in. Maybe that's why I asked you, because we're reflecting on Sister Gemini and her deathbed confession of she took a vow of chastity but had broken it before she found the sisterhood.
Right. She took it late in life. And so I think my kindness is, we put the dots together. Like, we know that Ida is Sister Gemini's daughter and is the daughter of Sister Gemini and this merchant, nice. Carboni. And so I understand why he took the rose and why he put the rose in. I get it. I understand. So like, I'm not gonna fleece this guy. We're not gonna hold him up.
I see us sitting down and he's on the bench, right? Like, we catch him in the sexta period and it's after meal and we sit down next to him. Maybe when we find the fig and piece it together as the Saint Rita offerings, and like, you sit down and you're like, she used
because
to
a
hate
fig
roses.
a fig could only come from the Holy Land. We don't have fig trees here.
Yeah, we don't have them here for sure. Well, maybe they have them in Italy, but it at least came from Greece, maybe, or something. I don't know. Hey Google, where
from
do
somewhere
figs
on
grow?
the pilgrimage? Yeah.
Nice. I like that a lot, Patrick, because I think it's like this. It's this innocent. Our solution is this kind
There's
of
no big
innocent
bad.
approach. Like, yeah, there's this big ancient evil, but it is this old traveler superstition.
Yeah.
Which superstitions are heresy, but he still has offended the Brotherhood. But also, maybe we buy into Greasy, like, this has just been a distraction. And that also goes back to our conversation, which you may not have agreed to me. It was like, why don't we just give things to the people? Why do we have to keep them poor and uneducated? And then pull money from them. I like this. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But art... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, throw us our issue.
So you sort of put together this backstory. You sort of you're like, wait a minute, I remember Sister Catherine, she had a child out of wedlock. She had broken her vow of chastity, and you start to sort of piece together like, oh, maybe the father and maybe the Idra does sort of look like her now that I take a second look.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But what is it you want to do once you sort of come up with that answer? Are you going to go to
Nothing.
the father? Are you going to what is your action that you take because you've sort of put these pieces together?
Nothing, but with the caveat that we tell him, like, we let him know, like, we will pray for your souls, and we will pray for your safe passage, and through the work of God, you will remain safe. We must let Father Fabiano know what has happened, but we will give you until you depart.
So, that's why I wanted to know.
What were you thinking, Patrick?
No,
I was going to say
time out.
Yeah, okay.
Time out.
That's why I was asking what your intentions are, because I have to complicate it.
Well, I want Patrick to agree with those intentions.
Okay.
That's yeah, I get that.
Sorry, okay, I got it. Sorry.
I was going to use my thorn of virtue for the kindness. I'll go lie to the father. I'll go tell Poppy, I saw, hey, I was out tending to the goats, and Probably not, honestly.
I mean, just in the sense that we're like, would I go that far? Yeah. Would Articus probably?
Would Patroclus the herder? I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I could, like, hey, I've got the goats. I could go and take it. Like, hey, Poppy, the goats actually got to the rose. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry that you got all befuddled in this. Like, but really and truthfully, it was just the fucking goats.
Brother Articus would not join you in that lie.
Okay, so then I'm not gonna do that. It's our book club that solves these murders, so let's not do that.
So are you good with the kind of like carry out your business?
Yeah, we give them 24 hours.
We'll give you 1 day.
Yeah,
that's our intent.
That's fine. That's lie by omission. Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Yeah. So you are, you go to Grimaldo Carboni's chambers, and you see that all of his belongings are gone. And then you notice that Idra is also packed up and gone, and taken with them is the icon of Saint Rita holding the rose and the fig. And they've vanished.
Was the icon important, or was it just like a trinket? Like, was it valuable, or was it just...
It was, so what did you find? That's what you found inside the tree trunk, right?
That was inside the tree, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, one, obviously important from a religious standpoint. And yeah, let's say it was made out of like silver.
Okay. Wow. What a bastard.
This reminds me of a tale.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
The Lord works in mysterious ways. The book of Theodosian says that upon the 8th day, thou shalt turn in all silver and gold and accept wooden clogs as your penance and comeuppance. I'll look under the bed and see wooden clogs or something. I don't know.
Let's say that icon actually belonged to Catherine.
So maybe we had it displayed somewhere.
Right. And it ended up, and then, so Grimaldi, he took it back, so to speak, and left.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, okay, so is that a fade to black? Is there more you want to do? Did we do it?
I think we did it. Unless Patrick,
I think we did it. No, I mean, I think that complication, maybe we should resolve that complication as a postscript and epilogue of the big Poppy comes little Poppy comes and is like, those damn merchants, and then
we'll do that with Pathfinder though.
Yeah. Okay, fair. Yeah, with Deadlands, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Deadlands.
So yeah, clearly...
Holy shit, that's a pretty good Deadlands plot. That there's a little church out in, uninhabited Wild Wild West, and their holy relic symbol has been stolen by bandits, and you have to go track it down. And
and fucking vampires or something are coming to kill.
Give it a twist. It actually is cursed
Deadlands
or something.
Deadlands is so good, man. I can't wait.
That's a pretty fucking good plot point. Okay, Art.
Yes.
Fabulous.
I'm dying to hear.
Okay.
Because the whole premise of this is what you have explained and what I've heard with Brindlewood Bay, forged in Brindlewood, or whatever it's called. Baked into Brindlewood would be a pretty good rules description.
Yeah.
That the mystery is not set.
Correct.
Okay, but obviously as the GM, you had to have a potential solution kicking around in your head, right?
I did about 20 minutes ago.
I want to hear yours. I want to see what path you were thinking. Just because I understand that's not the point, but I do want to hear what you had in mind.
So I chose. So there's one character you haven't met, I think.
Okay.
So I knew there was a character in the back pocket that you hadn't encountered. Rosa.
Oh.
Man, it's the fucking kid all the time.
So when I was looking at the clues, I was like, okay. The first clue was the one with Matthias. I made that one up. I'll bring this up. Let me cancel. How do I bring this back in? Leave site. No, I just want to pop this back in. Okay, let me. For some reason, like I can't. I'm just gonna close it. Yeah. Let me. Okay, so let me bring up the clues really quickly. Yes, leave. So I knew. The clues. Here we go. Is that showing up for you guys? If not, let me show it to you.
Yeah.
It is. Okay. So the one with Matthias, where she used to hate. I think that one I kind of made up, or no. Maybe that's in the book somehow. I must have read that somehow, that she used to hate. But I don't see it here listed on the official clues.
That's fine.
So then once we got to the grave, and I realized we weren't going to be bouncing around the abbey very much, and we weren't going to be going to the village. And I realized a lot of clues had to happen in the graveyards. I threw out the dried petals scattered under a bed, but I put it on a grave site. No idea why. I just thought, oh, that's sort of, it feels... I didn't want to go full, like, bloody fingerprints, because we hadn't escalated to that point yet. And I didn't want to do something like a misplaced jar of preserved figs, because I hadn't, thought of that. And then I was looking at it, it's like, okay, what could be in the tree trunk? I was debating between a finely crafted pearl earring and Saint Rita, but the only reason why I went with that is because the symbol was repeating. So I was like, let's keep repeating the symbol.
Yep, that makes sense.
So then when you and I got a second clue, and I was like, oh shit, what could it be? I was like, I chose a smelly tuft of goat fur, but I stuck it on the fence. So once I was like, oh crap, I need a second clue, go with goat fur. I was like, okay, Rosa is, her character is, she's a young goat herd.
Yep.
I made up on the spot that this was Sister Catherine, who acted as a nurse who selflessly gave her life helping the sick. And at that moment, I'm like, okay, what happened was Rosa's mother, or maybe Rosa herself, was cared for by the nurse that passed away. She sprinkled the rose petals on her grave as sort of like in memoriam. Matthias knew that Catherine never really liked roses, but the little girl is just trying to say thank you in a way that's nice, and she's a little kid. And she clipped the rose to come back at a future time for another thank you sprinkling.
Yeah, it was just a totally innocent, I'm a child, I'm going to help.
Right.
It's not too different than kind of what we came up with.
No.
Kind of, yeah.
Patrick, did you have a different direction you wanted to take it than what I threw out?
No. I mean, I was along for the ride, to be perfectly honest. With the clues I had, I wanted it to be the merchant or his daughter, just because I wanted it to be the merchant or his daughter. It didn't seem like this was it wasn't an inside job. It was going to be somebody outside of the abbey that did this. But it was good. What are you popping up for us?
I think this game was the coolest at the end. I would play this again, but I think there's things that sound great in practice, and I think the every work of the Lord is the name of an ancient author and work in question with no repeats. And then you're supposed to, a lesson, problem, or situation the author described. I guess you're supposed to know ancient works as well. That sounds really cool. But at the end of the day, if you're playing in person, is everyone just going to, look up, ancient myths and legends? I don't know. You're muted, Art.
You are muted, Art.
So my take on it was, I think, sort of what you did, which is what, the writings of Sir Aesop, you sort of made it up on the spot. I don't think it has to be. I think it's the idea is that...
No, that sounds like hell if that really had to be it.
Yeah, it's just that you can't say, Aesop also said. I think they're just trying to make you...
You got to come up with a new author every time or something.
Or not repeat the same lesson.
Sure.
And so I think what if I really, I'll just say, I genuinely really enjoyed this. So, I popped up the moments, and one of the moments was a brother obliviously stares into the void and says she's 8 verses. I wish I had gotten to incorporate more moments, which I think would be the case if, we were doing this as like the campaign, right? So that was, because I think the mystery is supposed to span the campaign, and the tension is supposed to build, like with the village. They're supposed to get more and more excitable, and the whole thing is supposed to explode. So, because you can see, like, some of it is like worried gossipers gather at the village crossroads before heading into the mountains to find another rose. Spring won't come if we don't find it. So, the father using it to drum up business was something I made up, I think, to some degree. But he's trying to do something good for the church, which is what Guisi said, but it's sort of dipping its toe into heretical statements that are going to backfire.
All of that stuff is cool, and I think some of this, and I recognize, that's why I said I'd play it again, like, I recognize we played in an abbreviated session, but the moment that stood about far above the rest from me is, it's really cool to sit down and say, this is the slop that we have. And obviously these clues point you into a direction. A child's footprint is going to point you towards a child in some kind of role or capacity.
Right.
But that was really cool. And then to to throw something out and then Patrick add his twist or throw in his kindness or whatever it is, I think just really, that was a cool moment. I like that.
Yeah. And in my mind, it's twofold. One, I've never run PbtA before, so this was all shaky ground for me. But two, I think if we were to play it more in like the spirit, I think those moments would be more, they would start to occur more frequently as we were getting closer to the end. I feel like, because I wasn't giving you conditions, we didn't have the opportunity to, have different scenes in different places with different people. I think we would have gotten more texture that we could have.
Well, it's just also familiarity too. Like when we did our opening scene out in the garden in front of the trees, like in a perfect PbtA world, like, oh yes, I want a moment with Brother Patroclus by the trees, and we're going to be jackasses and talk to each other about a mystery. Then you're supposed to kind of be like, this is a lot like in Orarium move. And I think at one point you did that, but like we did that way too early in the game to like then have it mechanically translate. Like there's no point in saying this sounds like an Orarium move because we had literally just started.
Right.
So the thing with this system that I'm struggling with, and I love PbtA, but Art, correct me if I'm, or both of you correct me if I'm wrong. This is supposed to be played in a single session, right?
No. It's supposed to. The mystery I think is supposed to be a campaign, but you can choose. Is it 4 sessions? Is it? I was treating it more like a single session because we only play like an hour a pop.
Sure.
But in theory, that is the idea behind the rumor mill. You can have 4 sessions and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should have been having a lot more rumors. We should have been having a lot more stuff like that.
It felt like, and I don't know if this isn't a complaint on you, Art, or anything. It did feel a little rushed. But I know that was the 3 of us knowing that we needed to put a wrap on this so we could get to Simbo.
And just carrying around a 10-pound of beats and talking about your chest.
Right, and that's the other thing is, like, I don't know if this... And again, I love these rules light things. Like, I don't know if this has the legs, like, to last 4 2-hour sessions. Like, could you spend 8 hours dicking around in this universe? Probably. Would it start to get, like... I don't know. We all watch lots of BritBox stuff. Like, I'm trying to think. What's the fucking, not Downton Abbey. What's the? Help me out, Matt. What are some of the British, like, mystery shows?
Oh, mystery.
Well, Poldark's fine. Or what's the one on the Shetland Islands?
Like Endeavor.
Old.
Or
isn't Shetland? What's the one in the Shetland?
What's the one in the
Isn't
Shetlands?
It's the one you like.
Oh,
Midsummer Murders? No. Although it's what I'm like, my mom watches a lot of Midsummer Murders. I'm like, we should be able to do this in 90 minutes. Like,
Hinterlands,
like,
my God.
Hinterlands, yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. But that's like what's on my mind is like, this feels very British TV. Like, this should be on BBC. Like, like, and it should be a mystery that's pocket sized, and we're done in an hour and a half. Like, but at the same time, it's supposed to happen over 4 sessions that are 2 to 3 hours. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of conflicting stuff on it. It was fun. I had a blast, and Art, you did a great job.
Yeah, Art, you did a wonderful job putting up with our bullshit.
Yeah, no, you did a fantastic job.
This reflection is more on this working in a PbtA, and I do agree with Patrick.
Yeah.
Does it have, like, Monster of the Week is very cool, and you can go back to it time and time again because it's literally Monster of the Week. And the nature of collaborative storytelling and the player taking narrative control is really cool when it's like, okay, it sounds like you're doing a fight move, roll it, and we'll see who's getting narrative control when you try to, like, stab this demon with a giant, like, silver bowl depicting Saint Rita, or,
right.
Then it's different, I feel like, whereas this is our jackassery aside is more like this like rigid, and like you taking narrative control maybe it's not as fragile as I think it was, because we also take narrative control in like Midnight Melodies and English Fury.
I don't know. This one just felt, of all of the super light stuff we've played, and again, Art, not a reflection on you at all. This was great. I don't know. It did feel, it felt odd to me. I had fun with it. I don't know. There's something about this, and maybe we need to play Brindlewood Bay to just try the mother, the mother version of this, but. I don't know. It wasn't a bust, but it not like Cthulhu. We all know that Cthulhu was the train wreck of all train wrecks, but I don't know. Again, I think I was expecting something. It's probably a Patrick problem more than anything.
So I'll say, I think the one thing I definitely that you said that really I think spoke to me is when you said it felt rushed. It was like, we didn't have to wrap it up in less than an hour tonight, but we did. Mm-hmm. And the first session, we basically accomplished. I mean, like session 0, we, that was meant to be like, okay, let's plant a little seed. But the first session, we barely accomplished anything. So I feel like, I think
that's a me and Matt problem,
right? So I think it ended up sort of making everything very lopsided, and I think because every scene in that first session was really long, it wasn't like moved, and I think that's partly, which is something that didn't occur to me, but maybe they have this routine dial here. Maybe I should have been a lot more rigid, because you solved the mystery in like 4 hours. But I should have been like,
right.
But I should have been like, okay.
It's like in one night, like the Rosewood mystery, and we look the next day, and it's like, oh yeah, we see this little girl.
Right. So I think your solution is really involved for, like, there should have been more about like discovering that the guy was the connected to the, like, there's a lot of things I think, but that's part of what I wanted to ask you about, like the idea of playing to find out, because there's nothing stopping you from just making all that up. Like, I don't know that stuff ahead of time to be able to breadcrumb the clues.
I think today, this session... I'm sorry, Matt, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you do your thing. It's good.
I just very briefly, I think today, this session was more indicative of what this system should be than the first session. Like, if we had been playing all 3 sessions that we played of this like we played today... we would have solved this mystery in, it would have been game time like 3 days. Like,
right.
It's just, I think we drug it out
today instead of Patrick and Matt having fun in the 13th Century Abbey, which I love. I say that knowing like we're the culprits here on that first session, but on the second session we treated this like a game, and then because it's like, wow, we're talking about wrapping it up tonight, and we haven't done this move. We haven't done
Yeah.
done an Interarium. We haven't done it every work of the Lord.
Right.
So I'm just like, I'm pulling them out, right? Like I want to see this does and what it does. And you can see like that's kind of cool. I like this if you're playing at a table of 4, like I'm gonna pull this monk aside. We're gonna have this moment, and I'm gonna learn something about this character. Like I'm the ding dong that asked about fucking chastity, and like trying to overthink it when I could have just used it as a chance to like understand Patrick's character and his motives. But that was also just me like wanting to like I want to see all these mechanics at play.
Right, and as I said, I should have been throwing conditions on you left and right. Like when you almost broke your walking stick, I should have had you like twist your ankle. Or
that'd be cool, because then that leads you to like you don't have to use an Interarium, but maybe you should.
Right, you have to pause the action, and again in my mind, I was aware of the fact like this was only meant to be a stopgap until Symbaroum was ready to go, and so I was like, it needs to move. And then when I didn't move it along the first time, I'm like, I don't want this to go another 4 sessions and, postpone. Like, so tonight I was like, this really has to, I think we were all sort of in that mindset.
Yeah. And I think I'm somewhere in between you and Patrick, because like you seem to really like this. So to me, like, I know you love this setting.
Yes.
Part of the reason why I love the idea of this. Every work of the Lord move aside, I think that's sometimes like, wow, that sounds really cool in theory. I don't know how good it is in practice. The rest of this is like really kind of cool. And like, there's the move that's like, if you're doing something risky, well, that was like me breaking my walking stick. I guess we did get to use that one.
Right.
There are cool mechanics here, but it's hard for me to get jazzed up about this particular setting as much as you guys. So that ends up having me like somewhere in the middle between you two, because it's like we made it as fun as possible, but like, okay, you're gonna role play transcribing tomes for 4 hours.
So that's why, like, the only time I tried to watch an actual play, and I don't think I'm going to be able to find the link, but the I don't want to say the problem with the actual play that I watched, because they sort of went into it with the same mindset we did, which is like, we're trying to bang this out as a one shot. And so I couldn't get somebody's example of working through all the steps, working through all the mechanics. And because the monk's life is regimented.
Right.
And, so when you're supposed to be doing work, I should not have been letting you run around. But again, I was trying to move things along.
Well, we didn't though, right? We only ran around in Vigil and Sex Day between during the breaks. Like, we transcribed and then someone pulled us out of the room, right?
Right, because I wanted to I wanted to get the story going. And I think that's partly like, I don't know, I wasn't comfortable with integrating the story with what I think the regimen is supposed to be to have it build to a climax.
Can I go back to an earlier point you made or concern you had about our ending and how it was an in-depth ending for the clues we had in front of us? And I think you said, like, should you have had more moments?
Mm-hmm.
And my response to that is no, because I think it's really cool, I think, that we came up with what we did, and Art, you twisted it in the way that you did with bare bones clues. So you're right. Had we had moments, those moments are going to direct us. But when we played Midnight Melodies, I think we both I had an expectation of, it was like a worker at the train, like he was in a maintenance shed. Yeah. I don't remember what the twist was, but I remember you and I talked afterwards that I was like, I thought for sure you were going to take it this direction, and you took it in a different direction. And this is like the inverse of that. Like, now the players are in control of, like, all right, I'm going to give them this goat fur clue to like indicate a goat herder. And I just like, oh, that's someone's coat. I heard cloth or something like that. Right. And I was like, oh, that's like padding of a winter coat. And so it's like, because we interpret it in different ways, I think it presents this really cool opportunity to like, this is bare bones. What do you come up with? And yeah, those moments would be cool if you wanted to drive it in a particular direction.
Yeah. Now, and when you mention those games, the interesting thing, like with Midnight Melodies, I think I mean, you can run it as a solo game, but I sort of GM'd that one. And I think like you were saying, I think I had more narrative control in how the ending came to be. Right?
You did have narrative control, but we were both we were collaborating together, and I had a different expectation of how that story was going to tell. But I think how we collaborated, it still worked into a cohesive story. So we followed your arc, but the things I wanted to collaborate with and the way I thought it was going worked with your overall story.
Right. And so I think that's what I was trying to get at was... What's that?
Remember in Patrick on English Eerie where he had like the lady jump out the window, or like did they jump out the window and jump on the Art? One of you like killed a character on the first scene.
That was me.
Yes.
Exactly.
Fall off the roof.
Right, exactly.
Yep. It was incredible.
Yeah.
That stuff's cool.
Yeah.
What?
Sorry, go ahead, Patrick.
I was gonna say, you know what this really made you know what this really did for me, Art? Is it just made me want you to run us through some more Deus Vult. Is what this did. Like,
right.
That's what this did. Was it was like, you know, this was fun, but like also we could go play some more Deus Vult.
So let me say two things. Like, to what you were saying, Matt, the thing I appreciated about our 2 sessions or whatever we did of English Eerie and Midnight Melodies is I felt like it was a much more natural arrival at the conclusion. Where this felt like I was sitting there going like, whoa, they're just like throwing out conclusions all over the place. That's but it was a really cool ending, but I'm like that. And so I'll come back to what I'm about to say. And then, yes, I will tell you there was a part of me, and I think I don't know if I said this in the Discord, if I was just thinking it to myself, like looking at these mysteries in the book as seeds for like a Deus Vult. Like imagine
if the Ancient One was real.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because in Deus Vult, it opens up a lot more possibilities.
It is like in Deus Vult.
Weren't you a little disappointed to hear because I didn't read that part in the rule book, and when you said like, but the deal is the Ancient One isn't real, I was like, oh,
right. No, in this book, it very explicitly says like this is the real world. These are superstitions, and you're not fighting those demons. You're fighting the evil power that those superstitions have on people.
Yeah.
And that's the frenzy that's supposed to build up that didn't happen here. But I will say, like, I think a lot of this, for me at least, came down to I wasn't 100% sure-footed in how to run this. But if this were Deus Vult, even if it weren't supernatural, I think... I think I could have, and this is what I want to come back to in a moment, the playing to find out, for me, it was really interesting. And as soon as like, okay, I have an answer I've locked onto, I think for me, I need to, even if I don't know the answer going in, at some point I'm going to lock onto it, which is what I did, what we did in Midnight Melodies, what I did in English Eerie. And then I've got to stick to that, because then at some point you need like a North Star to guide where everything goes, to build to, you know, and I think I feel more comfortable not playing to find out. And so what I was curious is, as the players though, was it satisfying knowing that you could make up whatever answer you wanted and have it be correct?
Patrick, why don't you take that one, since I was the one who presented it?
So there's a part of me that says yes, and there's a part of me that says no. Like, it's cool that we have the ability to do that, right? Like, it's very, very PbtA. It's very like, hey, this is all about us, you know, like Art. It was when we played Conspiracists 100 years ago. Like, that was all you, buddy. Like, you know, those games, like, it's cool. But do I wish that we were playing Deus Vult and Art had an end goal for us to go find out, even though you could play this in Deus Vult over 3 sessions and have it not be weird at all, like no weird creatures, no weird anything, but you're using skill sets and things that are in Savage Worlds, and just doing a regular old Murder, She Wrote mystery throughout the whole thing. And what do you get? The same character interactions and stuff. Yes.
I think I agree, but just as a chance to defend this. One, I would say with PbtA, this takes it in a new direction, because with PbtA, you usually are taking like narrative control, but you're not taking entire plot control. And I do think there is interesting something, like you said, Art, like you don't know if you can do this. I think you can, but you're right, it's something that's uncomfortable because you have to be willing to give up narrative control. And when something bizarre happens in English Eerie, you have to run with the punches. But even within English Eerie, I think we've always ran one of the mysteries out of the book.
Yes.
Like we've done it 3 times, right?
I think so.
And each time we've done it out of the book. So we've this is going to sound ridiculous, but instead of playing to find out, we played to reach the climax and then found out. And I think there's something to be said for that if the story is interesting and the GM is excited about it, because I would much rather, as much as I loved that exercise, I really think it was cool, but I also realized like I got to do it. And so that's a little selfish of me, but it was like a really cool, like these clues don't really go together, but like what can we do with this? I don't want to do that every time. If Art or Patrick, you're coming to the table and like I get so excited about the plot ideas I have in Symbarome, the plots ideas I have in like a multi-generational Delta Green game. Like I want to unravel this mystery for you, and I want you to experience my story. If a GM comes to the table with like that, then I'm in. I want to experience that because it's your story and I know you have the passion behind it. And I don't want to take control and change that.
Yeah. I want to add on to that is all 3 of us obviously really like RPGs, and all 3 of us really like our games that we they're all right. All 3 of us really like to prep stuff, and all 3 of us really like to come up with the A to B. And so to take that away from a GM where all 3 of us have GM'd, it's like, oh, like the players are having fun, but is the GM having fun? Like there is a, it's basically you're just there to yes and us, and that's not fun. Like there's fun to be had with a yes and in other systems where hey, I know what the mermaid statue does. Like I'm gonna let the players figure out what the fuck the mermaid statue does. Yeah. But I know what it's gonna do. In this, it's like, well, okay, now I have to roll with it. Like, if we wanted to do that, we'd be an improv group. Like, this is, and we're not. We like stories, and all three of us had totally different expectations on what this story was going to do. Right. So, I don't know.
It also, what I agree 100% with what you just said, and I want to add on that and say that it almost, you said we like the A to B.
Yeah.
This we played through, unless we got 6 clues, whatever. So we did A to F. I had to count letters real quick. We did A to F. The problem is, as much as the summation of A to F was cool, and seeing how we could take these things and put them together, it kind of invalidates A to F.
Yeah.
Like you're playing to put things together to come up with a conclusion at the end. Mm-hmm. And really, and we even talked about like, oh, we'll just write off Brother Matthias.
Right. And I can't stop
We ended up not, but that was like my solution. Like, oh, that thing we encountered, that thing that Art probably thought was cool. Yeah, I'll just ignore that because it doesn't work with my, like, I'm just going to chalk it up as a red herring. And so unfortunately it kind of invalidates, not everything. Obviously we like picked up on.
The fun of these games is the journey, right? Like, I don't want us to take the clues and come up with a solution. I want us to bounce around the roadmap and make it, I want our weird interactions and weird shit to take us down the road, not the road. And I don't know. I'm blowing this metaphor up, but I don't know. It's at the end of the day, I like to read a book beginning to end. I don't like a pick my own adventure book. I think is where I sit in the thing. Like,
I agree. I think we kind of talked about this. Remember, Art, with the roadmap designs of Gumshoe.
Mm-hmm.
You play through them, and you at least want the illusion of I'm choosing my own adventure, but you want to know that the ending sticks. And sometimes, again, like, I love a good railroad if the story is exciting.
Right.
I was so excited to railroad you guys into the destruction of Kloster Umberhold. Like, I couldn't just... like, there was no way you guys were going to find that destroyed. I couldn't wait to reveal it. But sometimes it does feel nice, like, oh, I could go A, B, C, or D, and I don't realize that all 4 of those lead to G, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think... I had better core experiences with Midnight Melodies and English Eerie because of what we were saying earlier, what I said at least, is that I felt like where we arrived at was a more natural destination. I think part of that is because this was rushed. I think if this was not the first time I was doing it and we weren't trying to speed through, I think the times when I made connections, say, remember, like, we were in English Eerie and one of them is like on the back of the photograph, you realized it was like a fallen soldier from World War II. And then you went to another shop and they had a picture of a fallen soldier. That wasn't in the story. The first picture was, but because we had the time to explore and slow build the story a little bit, when the time came, I'm like, oh, you know what'd be cool? And I thought, right this second, I was like, I'm going to make that photo also be this. And that sort of spun up where things, and suddenly you realize the whole town has these photos. That wasn't in the story, but because we were allowed to pace out the story, you have more time to make the connections. Because, like, when you told me your ending, suddenly I'm like, maybe it would have been really interesting if everything you said, and then the guy was coming back partly to pay respects and say goodbye to his ex-lover, but also to steal back this silver icon that the church had sort of taken from her when she passed away. And he's like, no, that was not, for whatever reason. And so suddenly I realized, like, if I had more time, I could have sort of built this up. But then I was also thinking, but what's the point? Because then when time comes, I hand over control and you say, tell me the answer.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why you need the moments, because you're right. It would have been like, if the plaque of Saint Rita was like in our entryway, because then you could set the seeds like, we are a safe haven for travelers, and the patron saint of travelers is Saint Rita. And so when you enter the entryway, there is this ornate silver plate with Saint Rita depicted, and then we find that in the tree, like someone had stashed it. You're exactly right. And I'm not saying that's what I expect of you, but I think if we pace it out, you can latch onto something that Patrick and I dropped down and give it the importance of that's what you find in the tree, and that's why it impacts the story. Whereas now this is just like we came to a cool Saint Rita thing, but it's like, well, who's Saint Rita?
Right. And I think
I want to...
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Patrick.
I was just going to throw out there, I think 80 to 90% of the quibbles that we have with this are just user error. It's Patrick and right. It's Patrick and Matt user error. It's not Art. Art was dealing with our bullshit the entire time. Like, this was us just, damn it, we played it wrong. Like,
no. I think. No, I don't think that's... Well, I mean, obviously, yes, you both are quite terrible at this.
Right, we're the fucking worst.
But I will say this. Someday I'm going to run this again, because there were aspects of it that I truly loved, and it's mostly like the setting and the vibe. But now that I've done it, I don't feel so beholden to be like, what is it trying to do? Like, there are definitely things I think I would tweak, because like, Matt, what you were saying is like, we have a style, and that style is we want to tell stories.
Yeah. And
I don't mind playing to find out, but like I was saying in the other ones, I start landing on things and I'm like, that's my story. And I think if I were to run this again, and I hope to someday, I would tailor it more towards what I like to do. And the main thing I think I would do is I would take that move at the end. We are playing to find out, but you don't get to just tell me what happens. Right. You get to inspire how I piece together the mystery. But I think I would change the confabulation move so that on a 12 plus, you arrive at whatever the solution is. I would probably, like I said, I was piecing together this little girl who's paying respects to a person who helped her when she was, whatever it is. On a 12 plus, I think I would make it like the correct, I would allow you, when you arrive at the end of the mystery, even though you didn't get to narrate the story, it's extremely clean. It's extremely like, the town calms down, everybody's peaceful. Like, it's like a really good outcome. Like a success would be like, yeah, you arrived at the end, but I might say like, but the little girl is now sick again, or something, like,
yeah.
And then I think I would hold control and then just use that roll to determine how cleanly the outcome or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what, but
instead of a yes and, it's a yes but.
Well, it's not yes at all, because I would have the answer. Like, you guys wouldn't be allowed to dictate.
Right.
So isn't this the problem though, Art? Because like, what if we're dumbasses and we play and we gather these things, and you're like, okay, there's a girl's teddy bear with the orphanage's name,
right,
and a picture of Sister Catherine and a thank you note and her fingerprints on the rose, and we're just like, oh yeah, it was the fucking goats. Like a goat ate the, like, that. The one cool thing that this does is allow our ding dong brains to see the clues that you put down.
True.
And reach a cool solution. I completely agree with what, like, I want to hear your mystery.
Mm-hmm.
I would strive to solve it unless it is scratch. But otherwise, I want to play all of your mysteries. I really do, and I want to like try to solve them. The problem is like, if you get there and I haven't solved it, this addresses that problem for when players can't solve it. And so that's I'm just in defense of the system. It is solving like a potential problem of like, well, what do we do now? Because we ran into that with Scratch. It's like, well, what do we do now? Because we just want to leave because there's rats everywhere.
Yeah. I think it boils down to Art wants to play this story in Deus Vult, and we want to play this story in Deus Vult. Again, take everything about this game and just put it with a little more structure in another system. Use a different tool set to play this system. I would 100% play this and have a damn good time in Savage Worlds, in Dragonbane, let's play 5e. Like, and let's just do it with, well, I know. But we're going to play we're going to play a mystery in these settings. I don't know, the biggest gripe I have with this whole thing is that you laid a whole table for us and we're the ones who decide what happens. It feels very arbitrary. And I don't like that. I'm gonna just throw it out. I do not like that it was us coming up with the solution. And maybe I just don't like PbtA for that reason.
Yeah, but I think I like the idea of PbtA in the sense that it creates taking control of the narrative in a scene. I don't know if I like it for plot resolution, but I wonder if you avoid some of that problem if this was an art special.
Yeah.
If this was not because these are the clues from the book, a lot of them, right? Like a lot of them is what,
right?
So like if you were in full narrative controls of the clues, those clues may drive us more in something in line of what you have, but then you're still risking, well, these ding dongs may not interpret this smoking gun as the murder weapon.
Right. Well, I'll say two things. One, to Patrick's like running it in a different system. I think the strength of that point is that I think I might not be suited as a GM at the moment to PbtA. Like it doesn't align. It just doesn't click in my head. So running another system. I don't think
that's.
What's that?
You ran the system well. I don't
think Art's saying skill, right? You're saying comfort level. Like you're not comfortable PbtAing the solution of a scenario.
And I don't think I did run the system well because there's a lot of mechanics we never touched.
That's because we rushed it. I'm not chalking that up to you.
That's player error. That's just us.
But I will say, I think actually what this game I think is really good for is like running a mystery can be really hard, right?
Yes.
It takes a lot of forethought.
Very hard.
And what I really like about Midnight Melodies, English Eerie, and now this is that I found them all to like the concept of this mystery that we were playing here in Rosewood Abbey, I really like, and I saw a lot of potential in where it could go. And so I like the idea of all three of these games where it's like, you know what, as the GM, I don't know what the answer is going in, but I feel confident I'm going to find it. And I think, and so I almost like the idea of like, oh, what's the second mystery in this book? For that, knowing that at the end I'm not going to hand over narrative control. Like I'm going to, but then it does like I think it really does succeed in making a low prep mystery, but I don't I don't know if I want or need the low prep to the point where I don't come up with the answer at some point.
Yeah.
But it's a low prep mystery that requires a lot more time. We're talking about rushing it, but English Eerie is low prep, and that was 1 or 2 sessions.
I'll say that we were much more, but we were regimented with the...
We did a lot less role playing as well.
Because it's so much like this is a scene and it says like one thing happens.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And I think
maybe
this is supposed to be that too, and I didn't quite do it.
Yeah, I was going to say if we came back to this, we've played it now, and we come back to it with that mindset of, hey, you're going to do one thing in this scene, period. Like, and just, you have to kind of treat it less of an RPG at that point, and more of a, hey, you're playing a board game without a box. Like, you're going to do one thing in this scene, and then the time will advance. You're going to do one thing in this scene, time will advance. Your turn, you're going to do one thing, which that's probably self-imposed structure at this point in a game that is all about not having structure, right? I don't know.
But I do enjoy... I enjoy getting down into character.
Me too.
And acting as that character. And I know we did dumbass voices. It doesn't necessarily mean being voices, but I want to be that character. Otherwise, it's exactly what you said. It's just a board game in a box. What I like in a lot of rules like stuff is like, even if it's regimented, it does get out of the way. And when it was Patrick and I playing English Eerie, we did have a lot more role playing. Because obviously that's like in one-on-one, that's different. But if you go to something like Vaesen, right? We haven't talked about Vaesen at all in this terms of a mystery. And I felt like even in that one-on-one setting, I was able to role play and have a good... I don't know what this really means, but that was a really good mystery as well. Yeah. And I was able to reach that conclusion, although I felt unsure about it. Like, I think this is what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not sure.
Right. And I think a good GM, what you're saying, what if our dumbasses don't like figure out what the answer is that I have in mind? I feel like a good GM, like horseshoes and hand grenades, like it's close enough, like,
yeah.
And so I think you can sort of make it work and, sort of work with it a little bit on the fly. And I also will say, I don't know if I've said this to you guys, but like when I got back into role-playing as an adult, the first thing I ran was Deus Vult. And Deus Vult, for those who don't know, it's basically this setting, but incorporates the supernatural. And it was heavily inspired in my mind by, when I sort of set it up, it's a computer role-playing game. You can watch it on the channel called Darklands, which is a sort of low-magic dark fantasy game where it's medieval Europe, and the fantasy part of it comes from the fact that the superstitions and the stories are true. And so I like, and for me, like that's my D&D. Like that's my go-to sort of low magic dark fantasy setting is medieval Europe, but the things that, were just stories are actually real. And
Van Helsing. You're playing Van Helsing.
Yeah. And so this had the exact right setting. And I, of course, like I said, I love the book, The Name of the Rose, and everything that this game does is in The Name of the Rose, where like it's very much grounded in reality, but the rumors and the superstitions start overtaking everything and ramps it up until it explodes. I can't say enough good things about that book. And this game is trying to set that structure, but turns out it's not as easy as you might think. Right. And I do, but I don't need that for my role-playing settings. Like, I actually kind of like the idea of, like, this could go off the rails and involve the ancient evil that lured a child into the lake, you know. I kind of like, and Deus Vult would have allowed me to, that setting could have been exactly this, but allows for that X-Files, that supernatural, that low fantasy.
You can still have the village raised to a clamor. I just don't know if I need that to be my mechanic that I care about.
Right.
And maybe you do. I guess it depends on the character you're playing. Does a scribe in the Abbey care? I don't know. And I admittedly, I missed that whole component of. That's why I said, why do we care about these things? Obviously, I didn't understand that was a whole part of it. But you could certainly incorporate that into Deus Vult as well, and not make it a mechanic.
Not be slave to it. Yeah. You're not beholden to it in the same way, because that is literally, I think, the driving force that builds to a climax.
Right.
And again, it's something that I definitely, having never run this before, I think I've said multiple times, like, I don't get this part just from reading it. Like, I'd want to see it in practice. And I just didn't.
I think everything that we've said and everything, as critical as we've been and as complimentary as we've been of various parts of this, I would absolutely play it again. I would play it again in a heartbeat but with the one caveat being, I would want it to be 6 sessions instead of 2.5. I would want this to draw out so that Matt and I can do our bullshit, kind of RP stuff, while also, I think most of our quibbles are from us saying, hey, we need to wrap this up tonight.
Also, why aren't we playing these games more? Art's
That's
dream
probably
setting
my fault,
is
probably.
Deus Vult, which is essentially medieval Hellboy. My dream playthrough is Hellboy. Why aren't we playing these games where we're hunting myths and legends? And also, what I was typing in was, I was looking up, and then I was just like, why don't you just hack Monster of the Week and make the classes fit? Because there is a Hellboy-esque Monster of the Week, or it's not Monster of the Week, but anyways, you can make it work that way. And you can there's also hacks for Monster of the Week that use Hellboy as well. So if you wanted to shake out PbtA, but why don't we play those two are so similar to each other, Deus Vult and Hellboy. It's just different time periods.
Mm-hmm. That's not how the rotation
because
works.
we get horned up. Yeah.
We're too distracted.
That's all fair.
Because we have Symbaroum to play.
Right. No, I'm super jazzed about Symbaroum, but it's why? I think part of the deal is I'm going to play Hellboy. As much as I've tried to run it and force it, I don't want to. I want to experience it, not run it. But Art, I think you want to run Deus Vult, or maybe you want to play it. I don't know.
I'm happy to run Deus Vult. And so for the listeners, Matt and Patrick have been in a session where it was very much like a mystery. You came to a small town where a miracle had professed to have happened, much like at this abbey with the rose. And then they were tasked with investigating the miracle. And it had a very different outcome. But I can tell you it was still very satisfying for me to run as a mystery, and I felt like it built more naturally. I felt like it checked a lot of the boxes of a mystery, which this game, Rosewood Abbey, is sort of mechanizing a little bit. And it's not that we still couldn't improvise within the confines, but it's sort of, I think I might just gravitate more to, Matt, when you said earlier, the Night's Black Agent approach, where you have this kind of diagram of, I always said, I like coming up with a sandbox that has these pieces in it. And then how you play with the sand, I don't know, but I just know that you're confined to this, and those are the pieces. It's
not a sandbox. You're dumping Lincoln Logs. You're dumping Legos. These pieces can snap together in any way you shape them, but they need to snap together.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're fixed. You're in the Deus Vult adventure, you're in this small town. There's a miracle that's happened. There's a rundown church nearby. And there's a bunch of people that are there as a pilgrimage. And those are the pieces. I know what's behind the miracle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But everything else is just those are the pieces. And at some point you're going to find out what happened behind the miracle. but how you put those pieces together.
At some point, you're going to be led to the end.
Yeah.
But again, B, C, and D need to lead to I, which is the end. Through whatever way that gets you there, those pieces have to lead you to that thing.
And I think I flourish with some level of that, even if, like in the English Eerie, when we were talking about the photos, I arrive at the answer late. I still knew what the pieces were. Like, okay, there's this inn, there's a couple.
You added a path. You added H that leads to I now. Right.
Right.
That's just good flexibility and flying on like this is what my players are gravitating towards. They're interested in these photos. I have another chance to give them all of that stuff is great.
And if you give us those hints, we drive a truck into the side of an inn and blow it all up, and it's great.
But I felt like, because that was English Eerie, right? Like and that's how you escape.
That was.
Yeah, and
that was how we ended up winning.
Yeah, and it felt natural, like because the whole town was starting to burn down because the guy went nuts and blah blah blah, and you had to get out. You had to drive a truck.
Mm-hmm.
So
straight into the inn.
I think at the end of the day, for me, Rosewood Abbey as a game and a concept, I'm still extremely high on. I think, I wish I had more experience going into it to give it its best foot forward, but I also I think having run it, I think I have an idea of what I would want to tailor to make it truly something like, oh, this was a magical GM experience. So that's my takeaway at the end of it all.
Was gonna say, you know how we do that? Just re-rack it and play it again. That's what we do. Put it in a rotation.
Yeah, and maybe I don't inspire my character off of Art's old age.
Yeah, maybe we don't do that next time.
I think mostly mechanically you made real characters, and but I think if we went into it, I think if it were a rotation, where it's going to take what it takes, but I think I would still change a little. Like I think I would not want to completely relinquish control at the end somehow.
Sure. There would be tweaks.
Yeah.
But, again, you just name a time and a place, I'll be there. I'll play it. Patrick Liss will return.
Or maybe we should be... God. Because I was like, I've got ideas for what I want to do next in the rotation, but then you say Deus Vult, and I'm like, but Deus Vult.
We could play Deus Vult.
But, Patrick, though, when I ran the intro adventure over at AAC, you listened to that, right? You said?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I heavily modified.
It's been 100 years, so
I thought I sort of expanded that in a nice way, but anyway, that's neither here. That's not what's coming up anytime in the near future, so it doesn't matter. But what I do like is that the rotation coming up is first Symbaroum, which has been awesome so far, and then and Patrick, when you take over the reins, like you're running basically your favorite game of all time.
I am, and a homebrew campaign with lots of homebrew things. Like we're running a Patrick special with Deadlands when we get back. Like
so
it's time.
I feel like we're in like a really sweet spot of the rotation where like the GMs you guys have both seemed very very horned up for what you are going to run, and we've already done 2 sessions of Symbaroum, so I know that I'm horned up to get back to it.
And in the interim, I do plan on recording at least a couple of things while I'm out with baby number 2. And because this book has been very much on my mind, and Silas Wren is sitting here on my table, just waiting to get axe murdered in Cernathalis.
Nice.
So that's definitely going to happen.
Very nice. That's
at
such
some
a good
point
game.
in the near future. I keep hearing great things about it, and I finally took the plunge, bought the book, made a character. So
nice.
I will dick around with that while I am out and about. But
cool.
You guys, while I'm out, we have Symbaroum while I'm around.
This isn't happening
November.
like next week. There's still some time.
No.
Yeah.
We got till November. So when are we playing Dragonbane again? That's a good question.
So why don't we do this? Is there anything else you guys wanted to say about Rosewood Abbey before we wrap up?
No, thank you for running it and putting it up for our with our tomfoolery. Thank you. Excellent job.
No,
You are a saint for putting up with our bullshit, Art.
no, that's why we're here. And I want to thank you guys for giving this a chance, because again, it was sort of like we need something to plug in, and I got, it arrived in the mail. I'm like, let's do it. So I appreciate that you guys are willing to roll with it. But with that, let's wrap this up. We're Black Lodge Trivia Night. Obviously, we're a tabletop RPG actual play podcast. We like to discuss them as well, as we've done for the last bit, sort of really deep diving into discussions along with that. If you're watching this, you found our YouTube channel, like and subscribe if this is your thing. But if you prefer audio versions of this stuff, search for Black Lodge Trivia Night wherever you get your podcast. We should show up. You mentioned Dragonbane. We look for the link in the show notes for Discord. We're trying to get games arranged with people in our community. And yeah, we've done a session or two of Dragonbane, sort of had to restart it. And yeah, we've got another session of Dragonbane coming up in a week and a half or something. But we don't record that stuff. That's just, for people like...
It's just us playing.
Yeah, because that's really the whole point of this, is to just get to play more RPGs. So,
right.
But otherwise, yeah, guys, thank you so much for giving this a shot, and thank you for jumping in tonight. Thank you to everybody who has watched this. We always appreciate you checking this out. And yeah, we'll be back soon with Simbrum. So yeah, with that, everybody, I hope you have a good night. Thank you, and Matt and Patrick, have a good night.
Hello and welcome to Black Lodge Trivia Night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
The in-session music was provided by Tabletop RPG Music and composed by Ian Fisher. You can find the Patreon at www.patreon.com/tabletop RPG music. That's all one word.